Let's see. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today I have a couple topics to talk about today. Some announcements, some new things going on the channel. But tonight I really just want to talk about bees. And lately there hasn't really been much, going on in the bee world. I know there's a lot of beekeepers down south like me who've been able to get into the bees, and we've been able to do that, but just really nothing really the best to talk about. Whenever y'all jump in, make sure to let everybody know where y'all are from, so everybody will know y'all know the deal there. But tonight we're just gonna talk about bees. I have a couple topics, a little bit about spring prep. I'll kind of, you know, go on my vision of what I'm doing for spring prep, what I'm doing to get ready for spring, kind of transitioning from this little winter phase to spring, because before we know it, spring will be here. And I see there are 10 people on here so far and more people jumping on. So good to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a good night today. Like I said, I do have a couple things to talk about. A couple things coming up on the YouTube channel that's going to be exciting. That will be kind of going through. Probably going to get more guests on here soon. So that's going to be fun also. And we've also just been really just kind of hanging out, around here in the bee farm, just kind of trying to get a couple things done. I've actually been organizing lately, trying to do some of those kind of type of things, trying to make sure the bee yard's kind of organized, ready for, spring. Some of those things, not the exciting things, being able to get into the hive and, harvesting honey or anything, but just things that we do need to do to prepare for spring. So we've been doing that too. Um, Kind of, weighing in on that, and I see Ronnie's down south, um, um, from upstate South Carolina. Good to see you in here. Good to see everybody who's jumping in tonight. I just decided I'd come on here and talk for a little bit. Last week I kind of didn't do it. I took a break off, just kind of, give every 2 weeks. But I'm going to start getting back on a daily, weekly, I would say, basis on these live streams, because I've been trying to get a little bit more of a better standpoint on trying to do more of these live streams, because I haven't been able to do them every single week. But I'm about to get back on track here soon. Going more into spring, we'll have better things to talk about, more exciting things to talk about, whether it be swarms or splits. That, and I agree with you, Brian. I'm ready for spring too. It's kind of this is the time of year where there are things to talk about, whether it be kind of getting ready for spring, but a lot of those things aren't the exciting things that we all really want to be doing. I really want to be making splits. I really want to do some of these things, and I'm not going to, because it's too early on in the season. But we'll get there. We'll get there before we know it. We'll be there, and we'll have our opportunities to be able to go out there to the bee yard and do what we want to: raise queens, make splits, catch swarms, or whether it be cutouts and some of those things. They'll be here before we know it, and I'm excited for that. We got our giveaway winners from last week, or actually 2 weeks ago. Actually, all those things packaged up will be shipped out soon. So if those guys are on here, just to give you all a little update, those will be sent out soon. We've kind of been working on that too. Earlier today, I actually tried to clean up a couple frames, with a um, earlier, let me give a little context on this situation. And I've been cleaning up frames and whatever. I actually recently, on a live stream, I used to be doing live streams outside, and I actually asked everybody what to do with dirty frames. I don't have a frame on me that looks like it, but it's kind of dirty, and they said to put it get a pressure washer basically, and pressure wash it. So I did that today. I've been doing that for probably about 30 minutes actually, and it took out some of the spots where there was a lot of dirt and debris that I didn't want. Because what I'm doing is I'm going to clean up that debris, get it out of there, and then I'm going to be able to re-wax it, and it'll be nice and clean. And I was able to get some of the debris and some of the dirt out, but a lot of it just didn't come out. So some of it I have to probably take some kind of brush or something to scrape it out, which probably won't be too bad either. I'll be able to do that too. But the pressure washer does help get the dirt loose or whatever, so that helps out too. And that we've been doing that. I've wanted to do that for a while. I finally got around to doing it. Earlier yesterday, I forgot it was yesterday, I spent almost like 25 minutes out there, out in the B yard, trying to clean up, out in the B yard because it was really unorganized. So I was able to get out there and take things off the ground because there's a lot of things, like frames sitting around trees and inner covers that I took off halves. I put them up and where it'll be out of the way. So when we're walking out in the B yard, we can walk out there where we don't have to worry about tripping on those things, right? I don't really want to trip on them. So I was able to clean them up, get them out of the way, and then now it looks a little bit more better. I got other plans that I'm going to do out in the BR, like whether it be management and other things that I want to make it, a little bit better, a better of a place for the bees at. But we're working there, got everything cleaned up, getting ready for spring season coming up, and that's really all what we're really doing. I really that's all there is to do right now. Of course, we can get into bees, but I've done that all the time. That's all I've been really doing is getting out to bees. So I've inspected all the bees so far, and um, we've been doing that for at least the past week, I'd say. Um, inspecting hives. So I inspected all the hives, and there's no more hives to inspect because I already inspected them. I could inspect them again, but it'd just be too much on the bees, and that's just really being unintentional. Really, when you go into the state of trying to be intentional about that, and so I've just been trying to find other things to do out in the bees. Been able to do these live streams, and I see, Ryan, that's really a good question, a good topic. And I guess that's something good to talk about. Any drones yet in your colonies? Have you found any? Not yet. And I can't say for sure because one of my best hives, or at least all my other hives, haven't made because they're small, smaller hives. So I'm waiting for them to kind of grow and get a little bit more populated so they're not at the strength they need to be to raise drones. Because, for raising drones, you need to have like a very strong hive at if you have a strong habit, tells that they'll raise drones. And when you see drones, it's not an indication that they're not good. Because a lot of times, when you see drones, a lot of people don't like drones. But to me, if this is me, that when you see drones, that's a sign that your hive is a very healthy colony because your hive has to be a healthy colony to make drones. But anyway, I have not seen any drones yet, at least flying, that is. There probably could be some drones in the hive, but at the time being, from what I know from last year, I don't really think there's any drone comb in the hive. There isn't any drone comb in the hive, but what we'll do is they will, make their own drone comb, so I'll probably have to look out for that to make sure and see if that's in there, which I'm not really worried about it if they do, but a lot of times I want them to draw a whole frame out if they want to, but I really don't want them to make type of wonky comb. So I do gotta watch out for that. But we haven't found any yet. But once we do, that'll be a good sign for mating, so we can start getting queens. So once we see drones, that tells us that maybe in a couple of weeks we can start grafting and doing some of that stuff. So I'll be able to do more videos on that. I've been making videos here in the studio, trying to get them out, and we'll get those out. And actually having a couple topics on queen rearing and where we're gonna be able to do that. And I may announce some different things later on here of guests and things. I've been really trying to get more guests on because I know a lot of you guys probably want to see more of that, and I think we'll try to get more of those kind of videos, or I mean, actually live streams out there. So I've been, doing what trying to get people on the live stream. I do have a couple of guys who will probably join here soon, and there are actually some really good guests that will be probably coming on. And I'm not going to mention yet because we're still kind of in the mix talking about different things, but we will announce it later on once we get more into it. But we are planning on having a couple different guests, and I'll update you guys on that. And I'll probably mention it later on once we get a little bit more people on here on who it is. Because I don't really see any problem with mentioning who it is. But I can't guarantee what the date's going to be because we haven't decided that yet. But we are starting that. We also got some different things going on that we're probably going to do on the channel, whether it be doing streams or with guests and a lot of other things, which will be fun. So y'all stay tuned for that. That'll be good. That's really all we've been doing, really. That's really what I've been trying to do, really. Trying to get more guests on, because I know a lot of you guys really enjoy that, and I really enjoy it too. It's really fun, and we're going to get back on track with that, because recently, in the last couple of months, I've really haven't had anybody to get on, but I've actually had a couple different guys that have been wanting to get on, and we're going to be getting on here soon. So y'all stay tuned. It'll be some good times coming up in the live streams, and definitely stay tuned for that. That'll be a very good live stream whenever these upcoming live streams will happen. And other than that, really nothing else. If you guys do have any topics or any questions, do leave them in the comment section below. Really, this whole live stream is going to be a Q&A and a spring preparation chat. So if you guys have any topics in that y'all would like to talk about, just go and leave them in the comment section below what you are doing, what you are planning on trying to do. I really like to hear from other beekeepers, what they're doing and what they're trying to get accomplished. I really like to think about that. And yes, we'll let me read the comment real quick. Let's talk about getting a house set up near a garden. We know much. We don't much. Sorry, we don't know much about what to do, but if you have the time and help, let us know what supplies we need. And that's my grandma. If you guys don't know this, can you put the comment down so I can see my face? But anyway, definitely we'll talk about that. And if you guys don't know what that comment's about, that's my grandmom. And what we've been planning on doing, and this is actually something that does involve you guys, because I'll probably do videos about it. And a lot of times, I'd say springish maybe, or maybe going into summer, late summer and early fall. Well, some of those during those times, we'll a lot of times we'll help our granddad out with a garden. So whether it be squash, cucumber, and some of all these other different things, which is near our and earlier. Oh, you guys always ask me like whenever I do videos on building things and doing some of those things, you guys always ask and what barn do you work in? And that's actually my granddad. So outside that, we're thinking about actually putting up some beehives so we'll be near there to pollinate it. And the reason why you would think about this, and this goes into a different topic about pollination, and this is really the whole thing about it. And some of these plants I'm talking about, maybe squash, and you guys can look it up and tell me in the comment section below what things can be pollinated. I know, of course, you can do sunflower, some of those basic things, but some of these things you can, some of them you can't. Some of them bees don't pollinate, whether it be roses. There's a lot. I'm probably getting them mixed up. I think if I can remember correctly, a certain a flower. I think it's a rose or roses maybe, and or certain flowers anyway. And a lot of times beekeepers ask, why do some flowers not get pollinated by bees? Do bees not like it, or do bees defer or prefer something different? A lot of times, some flowers bees don't pollinate or go near them because those flowers they cannot pollinate, because sometimes the pollen or whether it be nectar is too deep and they can't reach it with their proboscis, which is, or whether it be their pollen, because they'll store pollen on their legs, on their pollen honey, their basket basically. And Flower Street Farm bees, and that's really just the context to that situation. We're thinking about doing that, try to get some, put them around that garden, because we put a lot. They plant a lot of different things. Sometimes we'll help out, whether it be squash. Let me think of anything else. Cucumber, tomatoes. Sometimes okra. I think something like that. I like okra. And so a lot of these other different things, and bees can pollinate some of that stuff, not all of it. So, you can't pollinate, the bees don't pollinate all of it, but they do pollinate some of it. And the reason why I know they pollinate some of it is because I've looked it up, but I looked it up a while back because I wanted to see what we probably could pollinate with the bees and what we couldn't. And what I saw, I really can't remember. So you guys look up on Google or whatever y'all want to do and see what um, those kind of plants that I mentioned, squash, tomatoes, and some different things, okra and cucumber, and I really think that's it. Um, I guess blueberries. I don't know if that's really in the sort of pollination, but we'll see how that kind of goes along. Um, but we're also thinking about that. We're kind of thinking ahead of some different things, whether it be pollination. And when we go into that aspect of beekeeping, a lot of beekeepers like to do, and I guess I'll talk about this for a second. When you go into pollination, and pollination is just a lot of times beekeepers will do it for helping out their farmers' orchard or garden, or they'll do it for a business, get paid to move their beehives to most likely California. If you're that big pollination service, or you're somebody who's a commercial beekeeper who likes to do pollination, you'll get paid to take your bees out and get them and let them pollinate some of the um, different plants up there in California, whether it be almonds, most likely almonds up there in California. A lot of times I think they go up there this time of year and they'll come back later on, and they'll go up there and they get paid for that. And that's a good pollination aspect of being able to make money from beekeeping. But it's something else that I thought I'd bring up, and that does go along with prepping up for spring, because whenever you need having goals, having different desires, what you need to be accomplishing for the season ahead. You'll be able to do that too. I'll be able to get some of those different things decided, if you want to raise queens, or whether you want to raise some of those different things as well. Do y'all have Grayson? Do y'all have a lot of blackberries around your place? We actually do. Most likely, I can't remember exactly the time they bloom. It's a lot of times when, like, maybe late spring, at least spring and summer, they'll start blooming a lot of blackberries. But we used to have a lot more blackberries, but a lot of times, um, to the point, sometimes we don't get them because we have a lot of pine trees, and a lot of times, I can't really say it, but we have a path basically, and both sides have pine trees, but you can walk. And a lot of times they'll be on the side, and on the side you'll see those blackberries there, and then you can see them. And actually, what we used to do, and before I get into that, we actually did have a lot of them, but right now we don't have a lot. Some years we don't have a lot of blackberries, because um, those blackberries on the side don't get a lot of the sun that they really need, and then they get into the point where then they can't be able to get enough sun. Sometimes that happens. I've seen it all the time, and it does in an area. I know we will plant cucumber, squash, and tomatoes, and maybe some watermelons. Yeah, I remember something else about watermelons also. But we do have a lot of blackberries, and a lot of times we'll pick blackberries, and they're good to eat by themselves. A lot of times we've actually used them for blackberry pie. I think that's it. Blackberry pie, something like that. And I really like blackberry pie. That's good whenever you pick them. And um, also, I think you can make jelly with them. A lot of times you can do that too. And blackberries are good. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think bees do pollinate blackberries, don't they? I really don't kind of keep up with blackberries, or with pollination, but I do know they do make good jelly, and um, other things too. They make really good, whether it be jelly or pollen, and a lot of different stuff. Let's see. I see we got James is there. We got Kodiak Farms, Lee, back back bee broken beekeeping, a new name in here. Good to see you. I'm in the live chat. I watched one of your recent videos, and really good stuff going on over there. Really good to have you in here tonight. Gunline Bees. I was recently on Tim and Hannah's live stream, and they have a really good good channel over there. So good to see you. Flower Street Farm Bees, Brian. We also got Michael back there earlier on. And earlier on, I saw that Ed was there. And also now we do got Ed. Actually, now we got Russell. Russell's there. Good to see you. Wow, a lot of beekeepers are jumping on now. Philip, Philip just, I think he won the giveaway. One of the giveaways. I think he won the poster 2 weeks ago. And I do want to let you know, Philip, that I did just get your package packaged up. It's just been a while. I haven't been able to do it, but I finally got around to do it, and it's gonna be shipping out most likely tomorrow. It's gonna be shipping out. You'll be able to get that, and um, it's nothing much, like I said on our last live chat, but it was something that Vincent made, and it's a good little thing. Um, New, and also Russell, like I said, I saw Russell comes in here. Wow, good little bit of beekeepers. Good to see everybody, and I really do appreciate everybody jumping in and tuning in for a little bit. And whenever you do jump in, make sure to let everybody know where you're from, so everybody does know um, where you are located. And I'm down here. And if anybody doesn't know, I'm down here in South Alabama. We been going through some good temperatures, whether it be warm temperatures. Today the high was like 59, and it's a really good day today. I was out there a little bit with a jacket, but I was able to take the jacket off and not have to wear anything, of a jacket. I see Danette Strong from Wyoming. Good to see you. Grammy, Midwest Suburban. Lisa down there from Southeast Alabama. She's near me. Located down here. Really good um, um, channel. And really, what everybody's doing right now is just sitting there wishing so bad that spring would come right now. And I really want spring to come on and come, so we have something exciting to talk about, right? Whether it be swarms. I mentioned that earlier, and I think it'll come here before we know it. Will be there. We'll be to the point where we can do what we want to do. But right now, we do have bees out there flying. I actually had a recent video talking about these ups and down temperatures and why it can be bad for your bees. If you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out after this live stream. Really good video there. Probably talking about some good things that you probably need to be looking out for your bees, whether it be these up and down temperatures, which can affect your bees going through um, coming out of winter, and it can affect them, and it does kill them sometimes. It's been that situation where it does, and something to look at, right? I see Robert Seaver Jr. Good to see you, Robert, from Midland, North Carolina. Good to see you out there. It's coming, but I'm not ready. I need to build about 20 hives. Yep. I need to I don't really need any boxes or anything right now. Oh, I also do see DC down there. Good to see DC. Michael from South Carolina. A lot of people from the Carolinas. Good to see him there though. Um what was I saying? Oh, that's right. I don't need any boxes, and that's something I'll mention here with my standpoint. Everybody's trying to get their boxes ready too, because if you don't get your boxes ready before you know it, that time will come where it'll shock you, and at that point you won't um be able to see that it's there, and you can see that too, and something to always be prepared for um the coming up spring, and be able to get ready for it, whether it be boxes and nukes if you're planning on expanding a lot. I have a lot of boxes stored away, so I don't really need anything right now. Never know, I guess. Um, do plan on making up some nukes coming up spring. Actually, probably buying some nukes because I need to. At the end of the year, everybody wants to know how many hives I want to do, and I'm really thinking probably going to be about 10 next, just coming up, going into winter. That's what I'd kind of like. And look, I'll take going into winter 8. I'll take 8 because eight's fine, a good little number to be at, to be able to um be able to do that. And I think that's something good. I'm looking forward to the spring season, but am I ready yet? Probably not just yet. I'll take about 2 more weeks of winter, but after that, and what I really don't want, and what I'd rather, I don't want to be in this up with this time where we have warm weather than a cold snap. I'd rather it just be cold and come out of spring being spring for the full time instead of this weird thing like we did last year. I really don't want to go through that again because last year we had, I don't really want to say a terrible year, but I really have to be honest, it really was not a really good year last year. Going into the nectar and pollen standpoint, we had a lot of pollen, but nectar was just terrible. And I thought we'd have a good flow in fall. We had a decent flow. We got some honey, but not enough to make any honey out of, which is unfortunate. But I didn't want to take any honey that I didn't need, right? No, it wasn't enough honey to extract. So I just decided I'll just leave it alone and I'll wait till next year. Hope we have a better year. And that's what we're hoping. I don't really want a year like last year, honestly. I do not. Um, it's just, but we'll see. I can't tell the weather to do this and do that, but we'll see. Spent most of the day watching honeybees trying to figure out the direction they were getting. White slush, light gray pollen. All I got, it's not west or south. I get you. Also, I do want to make sure that everybody can hear me. So comment, let me know if you guys can hear me okay, because I kind of have the mic pointing up at me instead of flat surface. So I don't know if that really affects the volume. So you guys let me know if you encounter any bad audio and I'll try to fix it. But if not, we'll just keep going. Just want to make sure the audio sounds okay because sometimes audio can get bad on there. And a lot of times, sometimes it don't affect, but sometimes if there's not really good audio, it can affect. So we'll just let me know if there's any bad audio, but I think it should be okay. I tested it earlier and it sounded all right, but we'll see how that works out. Well, talking. Good. DC. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. Let's see. Who do we have in here? We got Russell. Philip. I thought we had some other beekeepers in here. Sorry. There you go. I think that's better now. My throat's a little clearer now. I apologize for the inconvenience. Oh, excuse me again. But I do see a lot of beekeepers in there, so I really appreciate everybody jumping in because it's really hard for me to be able to watch everything with everything that goes on YouTube. Right now, I haven't really been seeing all the videos that I usually do see because right now it's not the busiest time. So right now there's not many beekeepers uploading videos, and that's I really like to see a lot of videos from other beekeepers saying what other beekeepers are doing, and I haven't really been able to do that lately. Being able to um, do a lot of videos. I actually did, like I said earlier, I did a video on being able to be able to these weird temperatures. So um, I have a plan for the next few days. I'm gonna combine that small SOL or SOL, excuse me, um with the other and moving the other two framer to the dead outside of the side by side. That's a good idea. A good little plans there. That's good to have plans. I've always talked about having a goal and having a plan, and that's good. And I just topped. I think I'm reading that right. I'm sorry, I can't. A lot of times my computer screen's all the way over there. I just tapped all my 20 halves off with dry sugar using mountain cap method. 18 of 20 were finishing off the sugar from 18 days ago, and others, other two had only taken half of first batch I put in. That's good to see that, bees eating, and that means they're probably hungry for a little sugar, so that's good to feed them and do that. That's good too. And 5x5 DC. Yeah, that's all right. And also just trying to make sure the bees are good out there. I'm trying to actually, like I said earlier, I was cleaning up really, all right, and organizing, and you guys can see in the videos, it really wasn't that organized well. It wasn't organized good at all. So I took the time for about I really wish, I really think it's probably about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And the reason why I'm saying that long because I started when it was kind of breaking daylight. It was kind of fading down, but then the time I got done, it was, I think it's pretty much pitch black outside, and I couldn't see anything. Which I'm not gonna say it was pitch black because if it was that dark, I probably would have had a flashlight. But it just got to the point where it was really, really dark, and I couldn't really see anything. So that tells me that it really had a. I was out there for a good time, and now it looks a little bit better. So that's good. I believe we will have another cold snap before it gets right here in South Carolina. I hope your bees are doing well, and yes, definitely, watching out for these cold snaps, and that's something that confuses the bees, also confuses us sometimes. With these warm weathers, then we go right back to cold, and that's just how it happens down here, down south, even up there, South Carolina. Some people say South Carolina's up north, but really it's just really connected down south too. It's really more southern than some of those northern states. And like whether it be like New York or Vermont. I saw somebody here who was from Vermont. I think they have really cold weather up there in Vermont. It's another cold little place. And Harris was telling me hazelnut starts to bloom. Old nut. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce anything. But excuse me for um, saying sometimes the light does reflect back there, so it sometimes can make it a little flary. Sometimes I can mess with that. Harris was telling me hazelnut starts to bloom in February. He thinks it might be a white/gray pollen. He said maybe it's blooming early. And I actually do have some pollen coming in. I actually have some bees bringing in pollen. And if you guys saw my recent video, you'll see that there was, I showed a clip of bees bringing in pollen. It was like really of a yellow pollen. And I know that Tim and Hannah and Tim up there in down there in Mobile, Alabama, they actually recently did a post, I think, about them having dandelions, and I really thought about it since they had dandelions. Probably I would probably have dandelions because I got a lot of pollen coming in. Um, hazelnuts make pollen, but not nectar. I think that's correct. I've heard stuff like that. Um, some of those plants don't make pollen. Some of them don't make pollen, just nectar. Some of them don't make nectar, just pollen. Um, but pollen, you need pollen, of course. You have to have pollen. A lot of times, beekeepers some, not all of them, but most beekeepers know really the reason for a lot of pollen, and you want to have pollen. Pollen, a lot of times they'll store pollen away. Sometimes um, a lot of times they'll use pollen for um, whether it be. Sometimes I think did you use it for royal jelly and bee bread? Some of those different mixtures. They'll mixture of um, pollen and nectar and some other things that they use to do that, and that's what they really use. That's a really big reason why beekeepers put pollen in a lot of pollen frames in their queen starters whenever they raise queens. But yeah, definitely pollen is really a good thing to have, especially since we do have these warm fronts here, and we're going to be able to have um actually something coming in because a lot of times up north, if they have warm days, like really warm days, and they go out and fly and try to find something and nothing's out there. So I will say this for the benefit of the doubt that we're doubting that this warm weather, maybe go back to cold, we do have pollen. So that's a good thing and a bad thing. And you guys probably saying, why is it a bad thing? And for me, when I think about it, if that we have pollen and it gets back cold, then what's that going to do? It's just going to kill it, and then they're not going to sprout back like they did last year. So hopefully, some things do bloom. I'm all right with, but I really want a lot of the other stuff to come in after all the cold snaps are done with. Right? That's just kind of what I want, and we'll see how that all does. Does anyone in the chat harvest pollen to sell? I don't. And that goes back to Gunline's question: do y'all use pollen traps? Sam, that's something that we will probably go into. Try to collect pollen, and having pollen traps, being able to collect the pollen selling it. A lot of times, they'll sell pollen, and that's a good way to earn money with pollen too. Also, and let me see over there. Vincent recently brought something over here. Now, you guys give me just a second. And I know this isn't probably going to be a fun thing to do to try to get up, but I'll be right back, so y'all don't go anywhere. All right. I wish everything was near me so I wouldn't have to mess up everything around here, whether it be lighting, because everything is perfect. Maybe everything will still be fine. But see this, if you guys can see this right here, Vincent, let's see, what is this? This is either, I really don't remember what this is, but this is something interesting, and we collected this over time. I think this is either, this is actually, it'll work. Oh, I dropped it. That ain't good. But this is, the word will come with me anyway, but this is just something that we've kept up, and what the bees will use to glue up their hive. Propolis, that's right, propolis. I know all these different things, but sometimes it just goes out of my head that quick because I'm thinking about other things. But this is most likely propolis, but it's kind of hard now. It ain't that soft stuff that's easy to unstick. Cool thing there. I like to save this stuff, and for admiring and being able to see this different stuff. I think that's what it is. I think that's what Vincent said it was, propolis, but I kind of can remember this was propolis. The only thing it really could be was wax, but this don't look like wax. I have been worrying much more this winter than I have needed to. We fixed that over the last weekend. I've been complaining selling pollen. Definitely something to think about. Something to try to think about. Maybe having a little thing to sell pollen. And guys, and I see there's 27 people on there. Go on and click the thumbs up button because that will help us out here. I would appreciate it. And we'll see how that goes. 29 people on here. I really appreciate everybody jumping on. I get you, Philip. Sometimes it sometimes it can forget things, and I try to remember everything that I do, but sometimes it just goes out of your head. So sometimes I'll think of a thing like, what is that? What's that name? And then it'll come to my head like, oh, that's right, that's what it was. And sometimes that happens, but it'll come to anybody who's maybe forget something that they learned. But I for the most part can remember some of the basic things. There's a lot of things that I read that probably can slip out my head for a little bit, but then I can remember it later on. But anyway, I'm getting off track off what we're talking about. But this is propolis, and it's a good little thing to hang on to in pollen. Definitely, you can't sell it. It's really good thing to sell pollen. You can make some money out of it. I'll wait till it really comes in before I collect. Ed, I'm just reading through comments so I can see what everybody's saying. I have been worrying about losing all of them again. God worked with me on that. We have good and joyful. We have good and joyful again. He reminded me, what can 1 second of worry get me? And that's true. And definitely something to think about, because sometimes a lot of times beekeepers can worry about different things, and some of those different things do occur where you worry, and sometimes it does happen. But you just kind of think, what good does worrying do? Because sometimes it don't really do any good. Just something that you know think about sometimes, just in your head. And this is what I like to do. This is just what I've done whenever I get to a point where I'm kind of worried about something. I just think, well, it really isn't going to do me any good worrying, so I'll just uh, keep on going, right? Yeah, me too, Grayson. Yep, definitely. That's what I do. Plus, if I were to lose them all, he will just give me more. We are all his anyway. That's definitely true. DC, definitely. Checking all my bees through the back door during the winter, and my favorite winter activity. And that's something I like to do too, and something fun to do. I look forward to the nice days when they are out flying Utah. In Utah, that's good. And definitely, a lot of times, on my recent video, I talked about being able to stay on bees flying. And there's a lot of things I forgot to mention on the video. And when I make videos, sometimes I'm trying to actually on this video it's actually raining. Half the time it was starting to sprinkle that day, so I wasn't able to do the whole video I really wanted to because I was rushing. But I'm gonna go on and mention what I forgot to say on the video, and that is really um I did mention on the video, if you go back and watch, you'll see me say sometime in the video that I'm not surprised of the bees flying, because I'm not really surprised because it's warm, they're flying. And one of the things you do have to say to yourself, and this is something that I should have mentioned on the video, that um it the bees do need to fly, right? The bees have to fly. They can't be stuck in the house for the whole winter. And because the reason so is because if they're stuck for a whole winter in there, they can't go out, and um, they just they won't be able to go out and go to the bathroom or be able to do what they need to do getting out of the bee house. Sometimes they have to do that, and I forgot to mention that, but I thought I'd mention it here anyway. Um, the bees do better when I don't worry about them. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes that does occur, and it happens all the time for me too. And sometimes, and hey, mine finally came out today here in Wyoming. Good to hear that they're coming out and flying a little bit. It's really important for them to fly, like I said earlier, so they can go to the bathroom outside, because they have to do that. If they don't, then they'll just do it inside, and that won't really be a good situation to be in, because it's something that then you got to clean up all that whenever spring's over. So it's good to let them go, have a warm day or two to fly. But what we really don't want is it getting to the point where they're flying all the time, right? Sometimes you don't want that to happen, but hey, it happens. I'm not really surprised at it. Have you had a chance to check on brood yet? I've had chances all on warmer days. I have. There's one specific hive I've been wanting to get into, and actually I do. I have a couple videos that I've recorded. I'm going into a couple hives. I may upload them. You'll see them. Sometimes I'll save them for later, and I'll been able to do that. And actually, I've been seeing some brood. I see eggs. The queen's laying. The queens are laying, and that's good to see. I really like to see queens laying, and the reason why, so then they'll have more bees coming out. And the reason why I'm saying I'm really glad about this is because the hive that this is happening to, is um and the hive that this is happening to is a smaller one. So they're not the biggest hive, right? But they'll expand, so that's good that they're making more bees, and there are some good brood patterns going on. But I have checked on them, and they're doing good, and they're doing a really good job in the hive, and they're flying a lot. They are flying today, even though it was 59 degrees. I think it was 60 degrees actually. It was somewhat not the warmest, but it was actually a really nice day today, and the bees are flying. I saw them everywhere. They're getting water on top of places where they're water sitting on, especially like places. And sometimes that's good to see. Being them coming out and drinking a little water, and that's definitely. Are those in a single or a nuke? Actually, I do have them in a 10 frame box. They're I think they're on at least like 4 frames or something like that. They're in single deep. That's right, in single. And the reason why I put them in a single, they were in. If you guys remember, it was in that plastic white nuke. And a lot of people mentioned that I probably should move it into a wooden box, and that's what I did. I could have moved it into a wooden nuke, but I just decided I wouldn't, because I needed to put on one of my candy boards on it. So I just decided I'd do a single and let them expand to that, and that's what I really did with that one. I looked at all my girls today, and most have some brood and a few drone cells. One colony is in a good break, but overall they are looking great. That's good to hear, and my bees are looking good too. And one of my best hives, you guys remember the blue hive? It's really one of my best hives. I've been feeding them candy boards, and I'm redoing what I did last year. If you guys remember, I said that I came out of winter with a strong, healthy hive, and that was it. And because all year I fed them candy boards, and this year I'm seeing the same thing. They are strong right now. They are one of my best hives. They're really doing good. They're bringing in a lot of pollen, or a lot of pollen, and I'm sure it's probably dandelions, and they're doing a really good job at that. They are strong, healthy hive, and I'm really glad to see that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to raise drones right now. But right now, it's just the time to raise drones. I don't really think it'd probably be the time. I don't think they would right now, but maybe they might. Good to see you. Thanks for checking in, Sarah. Have a good night. Um, Let me see. I already answered that one. I'm trying to stay out of mine until March. Just treating, um, hefting and feeding if like. That's good. See if they need food or whatever, and that's good to be able to check out and be able to do, and definitely. Um, Most of mine haven't been touched except for checking extra food. That's something that also happens too. And other than that, really, you know, just trying to think of goals, trying to think of plans, trying to think of what we need to do now, right? Trying to figure out if we want to raise queens, because actually got a good video probably gonna come out, and I do advise when this video comes out, it is a pretty long video. I don't know if it's gonna come out in a week or 2 weeks, but it is a very long video. Not an hour. I never do a video for 1 hour. I'd probably split it up to different videos, but it is like a 30-minute video. So if you watch it, I appreciate it because it's a long video, and it's just really um, a long video that I did. And really, that doesn't include what I edited out, because I edited out some good stuff. A lot of bad stuff that was in there, I edited out, and including the time how long it took me to film the whole thing. So it probably took me about an hour to do everything like that, and set it up in this little studio, and being able to do that. So it's basically half an hour long, like that. I like to get 40 halves in Richland, 20 in Coppell, and get another yard in Coppell to do that. I have a lead, but I don't know if it'll work out. I get you making other BRs and stuff. Like, we mentioned earlier, try to get some other BRs at some different locations, try to get the bees to pollinate some stuff. And even if we have them close to garden, they'll probably, a lot of my bees here still pollinate down there, because, they fly about a mile, maybe even longer to. Actually, I think sometimes they'll even go up to 5 miles. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they will. Sometimes they will. Um, Sometimes they'll go 30 miles. Most times they'll probably, most times around here, there's a lot of pollen, but if they have to go a long way, they will. Not 20 miles, it's not that long way. They will never do that. But they will go a exceptionally good distance for a honeybee to go and find pollen or whatever. Or if it's a queen, they'll go about maybe a mile or even more to mate and stuff like that. So that's another good thing to have too. And I'm trying to be able to do that too. That's a good thing. Yeah. And be able to figure out if you're gonna do mated queens, or if you're gonna do some of those different things. I've been planning out mating yards. Those two. Also trying to plan out where you want to put mating yards. And I've had two separate yards before, and I have a good experience. And I really don't know um that most times a lot of people don't. I really don't know if the yards do any good, but I see that sometimes that they'll mate. Whenever I'm raising queens or whatever, and a lot of beekeepers ask if I'm going to raise queens this year, but I am going to raise queens this year. I'm going to try, but if I don't raise queens this year, 100% in 2025, because this year I kind of really want to get my bees like I want to get like a lot more bees up here in the um up here on this BR. I want a little bit more of a solid halves. Not that my halves aren't solid; they are good halves. They are doing really good, but they aren't at the point that I want to raise queens right now. So I just want to kind of get a couple of nukes and try to raise up the numbers. I really want level halves. That's what I've been trying to do, and this is what's going to be the main goal this year, is to get really strong halves and for the whole year. And once we get to more about to, I would say, later spring, maybe we'll get to that point and we'll be able to start doing some queen rearing. And when we start doing queen rearing, we'll be able to make those virgin queens. I may Now, this is a big if. My plans don't always go to certainty. Maybe we can sell some of them and um, be able to see how those do. I plan on if I ever sell them, start out with just doing virgin queens. I know there probably is a market for virgin queens. We'll see how that goes too. I've mentioned these before. People know what my plans are, and definitely that's amazing that you pronounce Capel perfectly, Grayson. Most people don't do it good. Sometimes I can pronounce some those different things correctly, but thank you. Um, I did a video today on this season BR changes/build. I have an actual nursery area. That's good. Good to hear that. I'll probably try to look out for that video because I like to. What I really like to do, and that's really what I like to do is try to watch other beekeepers' videos and see what they're doing, trying to see what they're up to. Because right now they're like I said, everything we're talking about is going into spring and trying to prep for spring, but that's gonna be probably about another month away, I'd say, and that'll be fun. It'll be a good time to do that, and we'll see how that goes. Earlier, if you guys didn't hear, I did mention that I was going to try to get more guests on. I've been reaching out to some guys. I don't know exact dates when we're planning, but I do have a probably a good guest coming on. Maybe this is once we get things set up, and you guys will see whenever it comes out. So just don't just maybe take it with a grain of salt for the time being, and I'll mention the names. I know you guys probably want to know who we're getting on or whatever, and it isn't really a secret or anything. We're just planning on some different things. You guys stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. We'll mention some different um live streams. I do want to get more guests on there. I really like listening to guests and those different things. But I do want to answer this question. DC Grayson, do you have any BR plans, not growth plans for or if you have any BR plans, not growth plan changes? Give me a second. Not growth plans changes to your BR setup. Um, well, there's a lot of different things that I want to do in the BR earlier. I mentioned um being able to do growth. Want to do have different some good setups and stuff. We plan on um really in the BR next year. I want to try to manage hot beetles better. And this is just a plan, and I'll mention it. And if you guys do know that in my BR that we have a lot of. This isn't really related to hot beetles. This is just really related to the BR itself, being able to make it a better place to walk around because a lot of times there's pine straw everywhere. And don't get me wrong, pine straw is fine in the BR, but this is just a plan. This isn't permanent. This isn't a thing that we're going to do, but this is something that I would like to do. This is something that I plan on looking into doing around the BR. Um, oh, I get you, DC. I'll mention some other things. And I'll get to that too. That also as you guys, like I said, there's a lot of pine straw out there, and what I'm planning on doing is trying to rake away a lot of the pine straw. And this is, like I said, it isn't infinite, so it isn't a big thing that I'm planning on doing. But I think I may do it. I'll put some rocks instead. Now, it would rock some help with beetle problems. I really don't know. I don't know if that really work for that, but really where I want to do it is to be better when I go out there and be able to have a um, better way for seeing things on the ground, especially half tools. And I know you probably can see half tools on the ground or whatever, but a lot of times what happens if I have a frame, a lot of times I have a lot of things that, like, whether it be like cages that get lost out there because they get sucked up on under all the pine straw. So it'd be easier to look and see how that goes. And what I think for management, some different things to do for efficient management. And and whenever I go to trying to make it more efficient, and one of the things is trying whenever I'm going back to expanding and trying to manage it different is trying to do some different plans on being able to split. That's one thing that I also want to do. And everything I do would like to do is have replace some of the queens to have better queen perfection, and replace a couple queens that I know have been going in the house for a couple years. Um, maybe be able to do a better way for officially managing hive beetles. Last year we had a terrible problem with hive beetles. We're going to try to do that too. We're also going to try to be able to make more honey. I guess that's something I'll manage, but that's just really just plans, really in general. But for management, those are really the things I really want to do, and I really want to um, be able to use some different things, whether it be peppermint. I plan on using peppermint for managing the beetles. Also will use. Let's see right there. I use. Never mind. Give me just a second. Also use some peppermint, like I said. I'm trying to adjust this because there you go. There you go. That's better. I'm sorry about that. Um, and try to use some peppermint because I do have a recipe that I'm going to use for peppermint that I do want to do a better way of officially managing those. So we'll see how that goes. But that's really what the thing is going to do, and that's what we're really going to try to go for. If you guys haven't gone, click the thumbs up button. That will help me out a lot to support this live stream and the channel. Appreciate everybody jumping on. I see Russell Koopman in there. It's good to see you in there. I don't know if you jumped in earlier because I didn't notice you, but good to see you in here. And I probably a couple more minutes and we'll go on and get off here. But I just really want to recap on everything that we kind of want to get ready, for spring and some of those different things. I see uh, Joey in there. Good to see you in here. I really appreciate you jumping in. Really, we've just been talking about spring prep. Everybody's been kind of commenting and talking about that. So good to see you in here. Um, and that's just really everything that we talked about. Really goes around to spring preparation. Really, so we had a good little chat. I really do appreciate you guys in the comment section being able to uh, bring up some bring up some good topics because there's a lot of good topics you guys brought up, whether it be drones or being able to officially do some different things in management type of thing, or whether it be some other different things. So really good to see you guys in there, but we're going for a couple more minutes for anybody who wants to finally come on here. And if you guys have any more final questions, go on and leave them in the comment section below. Any more topics that you'd like to talk about before we end it off here. But anybody new coming in here, you guys know everything. Go on and click the thumbs up button and um, join in for the last couple minutes. And maybe later on, we'll do longer live streams. I've just been kind of shooting around an hour. But maybe future we'll do some longer live streams and other things. But let's see. I'm sure there are a lot of beekeepers who know what to do, but sometimes maybe you can have a little short workshop video to show us how to get started for the new beekeepers. Luckily, live close by. Definitely, I think that'd probably be a um, different little short or a video talking about um, be able to do that, and probably that'll probably be a good video, and I'll be able to do that too. Bring all my hives back because the cows and horses knocked over about 10 hives. That I guess that isn't good. That's just something that I guess happens, you know. And I've never really experienced that with cows or horses or anything. Um Good seeing here, JNDSBs. Good to see you and take care. And I really do appreciate you jumping in here and supporting. I really do appreciate you being here. A recognized face in this community, and definitely. Um, but really, I really appreciate everybody jumping on here. Like I said earlier, we're gonna have more guests on. We're gonna have more guys come on the live stream and participate in what we're doing here for more Wildwoods beekeeping chats. Uh, I do have guys that I have plans on coming in that we're still in the process of making up times, trying to fit schedules, and we talked about that, and I'm sure Tim and Hannah know too. You gotta um, figure out with schedules and different things. Those are just something that you got to be able to think about and try to do. But this guest is a really, really good beekeeper, and a lot of beekeepers know who this guy is. And look, and you guys can say who you think it is, and I'm not going to mention it here, just because I don't know the correct date or what it's going to be. But whenever we do the guest, you guys will see, and you guys will know who it is whenever we get to the chat. But if you guys do want to know, um, let us know who you think it is. And when we get to live chat, whenever that time comes, maybe you were right. That'd be pretty interesting to see. But you guys will know here soon. It's a good guy in Alabama, and we'll get him on here soon, and it'll be a good time and be able to um have a good time with that and other guests, not just this guest I'm talking about, but some other guests that are coming that I'm going to be trying to get on the live chat here soon. But without further ado, I appreciate you guys jumping in on here in this chat, supporting this channel, supporting what we do here, and thank you guys for checking in. Before y'all check out, go on and click the thumbs up button. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys on the next Beekeeping live chat. And y'all take care.